What's up, guys, and welcome back into the Brenden Schaeffer Fantasy Football channel, where we are doing a 12-team PPR mock draft today on the Sleeper platform. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. Drafting from the 1.5 draft position today. You see there on your screen, we've got room for 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, a quarterback, and we do have 5 bench spots available. 3 running backs go off the board after Jamar Chase, which leaves us a plethora of wide receiver options to choose from. And let's go Justin Jefferson with this one. I think I normally lean CD Lamb over Jefferson, but in this case, I think I want to take a look at what my team might look like. It's a great reason to do mock drafts, right? Figure out what the heck your team is going to look like if you go a certain route when your real draft comes about. And so we'll go with Jettas right here at the 1.5. 2.8 coming up, 8th pick of the second round. Top of the board there is Josh Jacobs, Josh Allen, Ladd McConkey, Lamar Jackson. And on the way down, we do have a full PPR setting, so we love stacking those wide receivers, but we might want to pick a different position to be able to avoid falling behind at those other spots. I think more and more, Chase Brown's going to continue to rise up draft boards, and so I'm going to get him here at 2.8 because I don't think he's going to make it back to me at the 3.5. Gets us back to the 3.5 draft spot right here, where we've got pretty balanced roster to start things off. 1 running back, 1 wide receiver. Considering quarterback at this point in the draft is something that I'm not opposed to doing. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson don't fall to us, but Jaden Daniels is sitting right there toward the top of the ADP list. Let's go ahead and get elite at the quarterback position. Why don't we? We've got a wide receiver that could finish as the top wide receiver. We've got a quarterback that can certainly do so at the QB spot. And I think Chase Brown's certainly one of the top 5 running backs potentially this season, even though he's drafted off the board around running back 8 or 9 most of the time. So we've got a blue, a green, and a pink here as we kick things off. That means that tight end is probably not going to be our bread and butter for this particular draft because we didn't end up getting Bowers. We didn't end up getting Trey McBride, and so we're probably going to wait on that position. But we do have 1 running back that we feel pretty good about at the top. As they're ticking us down here on the 30-second clock, Rashee Rice, I don't think it's too early to go Rashee Rice necessarily, but why wouldn't I want to take the receiver for the Chiefs that's going to be available all year long for them? I'm going to take Xavier Worthy right as the buzzer sounds on that draft pick, and we'll see what they do with this here in round 5. Again, we've got 2 wide receivers now that we feel pretty good about. I'm very high on Xavier Worthy, by the way. I think he's going to be great while Rice is suspended, and I don't think he's suddenly going to just disappear after Rashee Rice comes back, whether it be after 4 or 6 games. This part of the draft is not usually an area that I'm looking running back. We'll take a quick look at tight ends. Yeah, I think it's just a little bit too early to go with that position group as well, so we're going to continue stacking quality wide receivers at this stage in the draft. And, man, we're going to take Teterow and McMillan. I think McMillan could have potentially fallen to us in the 6th round. This is something generally to watch for. Would he have potentially made it back? Probably not. He'd be the highest-ranked wide receiver now as these names are being crossed off the board, and Travis Hunter went. So I think if we wanted McMillan, it would have had to have been right where we got him. Would I take McMillan over Metcalf? I would. Smith, it's a toss-up. Flowers, toss-up. J-Mo, it's a toss-up. I do lean McMillan over Travis Hunter, but I like Travis Hunter as well. This is an area of the draft where I love to be hammering wide receivers, which is why I took elite quarterback, which is why I took elite running back, to be able to continue scooping up these values at the receiver position. I don't have to think twice about this next click. It's Jalen Waddle for me, as he is going to fill into my flex position. Again, full point PPR. I feel very good about his upside at the receiver spot. As I shift my screen here a little bit for you so we can continue to check out what's moving forward. Calvin Ridley, the top of the draft board right now, and Pollard, Andrews, Roma, Dunze. So here you could go a couple of different routes. You could take one of the running backs near the top of the board. I'm usually looking for youth and upside. Caleb Johnson, Tyrone Tracy, a couple of players that intrigue me there. But I'm going to actually continue to hammer wide receivers, something that I do very often in these mock drafts, and grab Roma Dunze to be my first wide receiver off the bench. That's a 5-pack. I'm going to leave the draft with 6. I'm always going to try to leave with 6, and especially in full PPR, I just want that to be a position of strength for me. I also was kind of thinking there'd be some good running backs that would drop back to me in the 8th round if I waited a little bit longer on the position. I was wrong. Jalen Warren, Tracy, and Caleb Johnson all went. And so, those were 3 guys that I would have liked to have had. And that could be probably a mistake in this draft. Again, we're learning through the process here of doing a mock draft that maybe our RB2 is going to suffer as a result of the decision we just made. But let's go ahead and grab a tight end. Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland are two tight ends that I really, really like at this stage of the draft. And we went elite quarterback here, so we're not looking at Kyler Murray. We're not looking at Caleb Williams because we already have Jaden Daniels locked up on our squad. We do need to get back and consider the running back position, but because we've waited this long, I'm going to continue to punt it down the road. This is a hero RB build, essentially, where we're also making sure while doing hero RB that we're loaded at wide receiver and we're getting elite at least one of the onesie positions, quarterback or tight end. In this case, it ends up being the quarterback spot that we do it. I'm taking Emeka Egbuka. I think he is way too low in the ADP here on Sleeper, and he is somebody that I am going to be able to get on my bench as my wide receiver 6. The reason I load up on wide receivers like this in a PPR format is simply because I know that they're more likely to stay healthy than the running backs. Even though that didn't happen last year, I am fading the idea that all these old, decrepit running backs are once again going to make it through the season. Guys like Joe Mixon are already hurt. So I am going to load up on wide receivers and have probably a ton of trade possibilities with my roster when doing that. But we've got a tight end. We've got a quarterback. Basically, now we just need to start loading up on potential RB2 candidates. Let's start here with Tyjae Spears. I like the fact that he's probably going to be splitting time with Tony Pollard, and Pollard is one of those running backs getting up there a little bit in age. I also thought I might be able to get some of my other running back targets to drop back to me. Tyjae Spears, not the highest upside pick at the position, but to get a locked-in RB2 in week 1, a guy that we know is going to see the field at least. Word out of Tennessee is that they're potentially going to split time pretty much 50-50 between Pollard and Tyjae Spears. He's not a high upside play, but he gives me a floor. Now I can start chasing upside at the running back position with the rest of my picks, and that's why I go Jaden Blue, a rookie for the Dallas Cowboys. Does he end up as part of that running back rotation? I don't know. But if he doesn't, we can cut him for waivers within the first couple of weeks. If he does, well, he's going to be a higher upside RB2 than what we're projecting for Tyjae Spears to be. We really like that pick. Continuing in that same mindset, we can go with Bashal Tutin. We could go with Garendo, although he's a little bit banged up already in camp. We could go with Trey Benson. I think I'm going to go Trey Benson. He's a name that I'm finding myself clicking often because, again, I'm fading that group of running backs that James Conner fits into because he is a older running back that has been more durable in recent years, but certainly injuries could get anybody at his age and at his position. And so Trey Benson, I think, is going to be more of a factor there for the Cardinals from week 1, and he's got great contingent value if an injury should befall our guy James Conner, who's not really our guy this year, even in the slightest. Tyler Algier, same story behind Bijan Robinson. Dylan Sampson is interesting. Braylon Wright is a guy that I really like, or excuse me, Braylon Allen and Jalen Wright. I'm going to take Dylan Sampson, though, because what happens if Jerome Ford is just a guy and Quinshon Judkins never makes an appearance this year for the Browns? Well, Dylan Sampson is another rookie they drafted out of Tennessee who I thought landed in an unfortunate spot because they had already drafted Judkins. But with Judkins potentially being out for the season, we just don't know anything about his legal status. I like Dylan Sampson to potentially be a talent that suddenly opportunity is going to find him. That's our draft here from the 1.5. Jaden Daniels is our quarterback. Chase Brown and Tyjae Spears are the two running backs that will start week 1, unless we get some good news on Jaden Blue or Trey Benson moving up the depth chart. And then Dylan Sampson is a little bit of a flyer for the end of our bench. We'll see. Maybe he ends up being the starter. If so, that's great for us. You're talking about upside when you're drafting a bench. Our wide receivers are loaded. Justin Jefferson, Xavier Worthy, Tataroa McMillan, Jalen Waddle, Rome Odunze, and Emeka Egbuka starting for us off the bench. Could easily come into our lineup at a given point in the season. And we went pretty far into the upside category when it came to tight end as well, because Tyler Warren is our guy at that position. Let me know what you think of this draft. Let me know what you would have done differently, and we will continue to put out mock draft videos all week long, all month long, really, heading into your fantasy football draft season before the NFL gets going in early September. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more content like this in the weeks to come, as well as some live content coming later on in the month of August. But we'll talk to you next time on the channel. Peace.